I mean, this is the Children's Commissioner, so it's appointed by Parliament, a serious institution that consider these matters incredibly serious, and they wouldn't have said last week what they said if they didn't have any justification for doing so. And the Scottish Government, to be frank, has got this wrong before, very recently, with the incorporation of the UNCRC. So what confidence do you really have that you've got this right? Because surely we can't afford for this to be bogged down in the courts in the same way as the UNCRC incorporation has been. So what can you tell us that convinces us that you're right and the Children's Commissioner's wrong?
Well, of course, I'm very, very happy and would encourage all of those who have concerns with this aspect and with indeed any other aspect of the bill to continue to have discussions with ministers and with officials as we go through to see if we can alleviate some of the concerns. And I think we can hopefully do that with some of the points that have been raised by the Commissioner. I absolutely take very much on board the seriousness of the concerns that the Commissioner's office have had and indeed the importance of the Commissioner's views on these aspects.
The fact that you never used these powers through the pandemic, they were never required to be used, does that not just prove the point that the colleges and universities are making, which is that the powers in the original emergency bill and act were too prescriptive, and they would never have been possible to use them for that very reason? So if they were never used before in that format, why on earth are we replicating what we never used before because they were too prescriptive? Why not have the framework approach, which is far more sensible, and in fact the way that you worked last time?
Because I would point out, and I appreciate Conservative members on the committee may agree with the approach taken to coronavirus by the UK Government, but if we had an institution, a senior management team that has perhaps the more Boris Johnson approach to how you deal with coronavirus than actually listening to public health guidance such as we have up here, then we need the powers to be able to deal with that. Otherwise, we would have large institutions with thousands of staff, thousands of students that are integral parts of our community having a very, very different approach to dealing with coronavirus than the government does. And I don't think that that would be particularly welcome in the communities that are, of course, university towns and cities across the country.